I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Council of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, September 18th, 2024 to order. Clerk, can we please get roll call?
10 present, 2 absent.
Present, 2 absent. Please note that Commissioner Morgan and Commissioner Anderson are absent from tonight's meeting. Commissioner Sorge, could you lead us in the prayer and the pledge?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive, fellow commissioners. Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll move on to any public comment on any item on tonight's agenda. If you'd like to speak on any item on tonight's agenda, please come forward, state your name, your address, and what item you'd like to speak about. Seeing none, we'll move to the approval of the minutes from the September 4th, 2024 regular meeting. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 4th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 4th, 2024. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. We don't have any items that are not addressed on tonight's agenda, so we'll move on to the Chief Executive's report. I wanted to recognize today we did a proclamation about Constitution Week. It is this week that we recognize our 237 years ago, the Constitution was adopted and ratified, and it's still the guiding document that we follow today. And so I think it's important to recognize that, and we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, although it's not always perfect, it is. It works well for us, and I think it's incumbent upon us to think about that as we make decisions in this body as we go along. So, with that, I also kind of wanted to talk about 2 weeks ago when I was gone from the regular meeting. I was down as I was appointed to be part of a fellowship of Early Learning Nation where 2 elected officials from Montana and 2 from every state went down to talk about early learning, childhood issues, and how we can mitigate barriers and create more opportunities. And at that time is when the state announced that they were granting the major grant awards to an out-of-state firm called Shine. And Butte 4Cs was in jeopardy of losing positions, and still are, and programming that went along there. And so some people are asking where I was at. Well, I was across the table from Caitlin Jensen, who is the executive officer of 0 to 5. Also with Jesse Counts, who was the executive director of Department of Human Health and Human Services down there. And I got to ask questions. What's going on, and why are these grants going to an out-of-state firm, and what was the criteria? And essentially it was an RFP process, and the company or the corporation that wrote the best proposal stating what they could do was awarded the grant funds. So I put on your desk today the letter that I drafted to the governor and to Director Brereton about our dissatisfaction about how this impacts local child care, local early education, and what this means to our community. And it's I won't read the letter to everybody here. I'll let you read it for yourselves. But it's stating that these have real world consequences, and the fact that we have a nonprofit here in Butte that's been doing fantastic work over the years and is now in jeopardy of closing the doors, or at least downsizing to a point that that doesn't allow for those services to work with our local childcare, local early education. It's really disappointing. And so we're going to continue to battle about this. It's important that we support our local nonprofits in their mission and what they do for our local communities. And this doesn't just hit Butte-Silver Bow, it hit across the state. And I was with Mayor Wilmot Collins at the time. We're talking about how we're going to author a op-ed together and put it in the paper as well. But it has real world consequences, and so we need to pay attention as we move forward with that. And so with that, I didn't want to be all doom and gloom, but it's important that we talk about the issues that we have there. And so, and then the last couple of days I was just down at the Montana Association of Counties conference, working with county officials and talking about the issues coming up. And most everybody's talking about the legislature and taxation and property taxes. And so I think that you'll see a lot of energy put towards that. There was at the last session as well, and we'll continue to be at the table when we talk about property taxes. But I do want to congratulate this body for the adherence to passing a budget that we really look at how property taxes are impacted here locally. And I don't think there's another community in the state of Montana that can say that last year they dropped 98 mills and dropped $3.5 million from the general budget, and this year we only dropped by $0.25 mil, but in the $100,000 range of decrease. Everybody else is seeing 14, 16, 18% increases on their budgets. So I just want to recognize that, because as I was talking to all the other counties in the state of Montana, that isn't the case. And so it's the staff, it's the people that work so hard to do that, utilizing grant funding to offset some of the increases that we have in actual expenditures, but without passing it on to the property taxpayers, I think is commendable for our community. So with that, I'm going to close out the Chief Executive's report, and we'll get moving on tonight's agenda. So we'll move on to Section 1, bid openings, public hearings, and our presentations. First one is bid openings. We have one communication number 2024-394, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Budget Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for September 18th, 2024 for the West Side Storm Reroute Project. And it looks like we have Zane Gleason here to help us out. Welcome, Mr. Gleason. Oh, County Attorney, do we have proof of publication? Yes, Chief Executive, proof of publication appears to be in order. Thank you, County Attorney. Deputy County Attorney Clegg.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. It looks like we have 3 bids tonight. The first one is from Hoffman's R&M out of Butte. There is a bid bond and it appears to be in order.
Thank you, Deputy County Attorney Clegg.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, the cost of this one is $902,637.
$902,637.
Correct.
Okay.
The next one is from Montana Materials and Construction out of Helena, Montana. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond and it appears to be in order.
Thank you, Deputy County Attorney Clegg.
The price for this one is $1,308,025. That's $1,308,025.
That's $1,308,025. Is that correct?
$1,308,025, yes.
Okay.
The last one is from Jeffrey Contracting out of Butte.
Chief Executive, there is a bid bond that appears to be in order.
Thank you, Deputy County Attorney Clegg.
This one is $1,147,105.52. That's $1,147,105.52.
Just to say that one more time, $1,147,105
And 52 cents.
and 52 cents. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gleason. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Since Commissioner Anderson isn't here, I'll ask his favorite question. Mr. Gleason, do you have an engineer's estimate?
Yes, Chief Executive Gallagher, Madam Chair Shea, the engineering estimate is $1,201,837.50.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Gleason. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I would make a motion to refer these bids back to Public Works for a recommendation back to this body.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to Public Works. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Motion passes. Moving on to Section 2, consent agenda, A 1 through 4 and B 1 through 23. Do we have any friendly amendments and or segregations? Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I have a couple of friendly amendments to item 21, Communication 2024-455, and 22, Communication number 2024-456, just to ensure that the signatory page on these agreements has County Attorney Fivey's signature line and not former County Attorney Joyce.
So that friendly amendment would be to reflect that County Attorney Fivey's signature will be on there rather than former County Attorney Joyce. Okay. Any other friendly amendments or segregations?
I have.
Okay.
I have a segregation. Okay. Yes, thank you. I would segregate item number 9, communication number 2024-442.
That's item number 9, communication number 2024-442.
And also, just a clarification, there were 2 versions of the agenda that were printed.
Okay.
The most current version for item number 4, that recommendation is to hold in abeyance. Some of the printed copies that you may have indicate that number 4 was to concur and place on file, but there will be a small presentation or a short presentation next week.
Okay. Okay. Any other friendly amendments? Commissioner Reardon.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I would like to segregate number 4, communication number 2024-437, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Or 5. 5, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
read the wrong one. 5.
Okay, that's item number 5, communication number 2024-438. Is that
Yes,
correct?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Any other friendly amendments and or segregations? Seeing none, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I will move to approve the consent agenda, A, committee reports 1 through 4, and B, Communications 1 through 23 as amended, with the exceptions of item number 5, 2024-438, and item number 9, 2024-442.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 5, communication number 2024-438, James Olet, Butte-Silver Bow ADA Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to have Chief Executive Gallagher sign an agreement with Bearing the Light LLC to provide for professional American Sign Language interpreter services for our ADA public input event on September 26, 2024. Commissioner Reardon.
Thank you. The reason I segregated this, I was visiting with Mr. Olet, and I find it very interesting that the progress being made on or in Butte-Silver Bowl for the ADA, making the ADA better with the sign interpreter. So I just wanted him to kind of explain what this process is going to be about and how it's going to help out everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reardon. Welcome, Mr. Olet. And if you'd like to explain this communication and what we have in front of us.
Yeah, thank you, Chief Executive. Commissioner Reardon, next Thursday, September 26, 2024, Butte-Silver Bow is hosting a public input event at the Butte Archives at 5:30 to 7 p.m. This is part of our ADA transition plan. So the WT group, who has been out in the field measuring sidewalks, measuring parks, measuring tables, that's only part of the data. What they really want to hear is from our community, what we want to hear from our community, what are their priorities, right? That shared lived experience is so valuable. So to really make sure that that event is accessible to everyone, there will be members of the deaf community there that night. So we would like for you to sign a contract where we can enter an agreement with a professional American Sign Language interpreter for the amount of $488. This will be paid by the HR Central administration budget, which we already have the money in there for that. And to find this, or to select the sign language interpreter, we went to the Department of Health and Human Services. They have a qualified list interpreter, and we kind of looked from the one closest, so Dillon, and they were busy that night, and I went to Helena, and they were busy, and so Bozeman it is. So that is why there is travel expenses on this report. But ideally for an event like this, we would definitely try to go with someone a lot closer.
Thank you, Mr. Olet. Any other questions of Mr. Olet? Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I don't have any questions, but I want to say kudos to you for making this happen, and your team, of course. I think that the work that is being done so far on the ADA transition plan is so meaningful, and it's been so far behind that it's just explosive how good it's going to be. So thank you very much, and please pass my thanks on to the WT group too, and I will see you next week.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. All right, Commissioner Reardon, would you like to make a motion?
Okay, yes. At this time, I would like to concur and place on file communication number 2024-438.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2024-438. Is there anything on the question? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Olet. Moving on to item number 9, communication number 2024-442. Danielle Woods, Finance and Budget Accounting Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to have Chief Executive Gallagher sign an amendment to subrecipient agreement for the use of the U.S. Treasurer American Rescue Plan Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery funds SLFRF between the city, county of Butte-Silver Bow and Butte-Silver Bow Primary Healthcare Clinic Incorporated, Southwest Montana Community Health Center. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. As my colleagues know, I am employed by Southwest Montana Community Health Center, and we are governed by a volunteer board of directors. And our board chair has asked that I recuse myself from voting on items related to this, so I would respectfully ask to be allowed to recuse from voting on this communication.
Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Yes, thank you, Commissioner Shea. I do appreciate your board asking you and your cooperation. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to recuse Commissioner Shea from voting on this communication.
We have a motion and a second allowing Commissioner Shea to recuse herself from item number 9, communication number 2024-442. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please? Yes, to whether she's recused or not. Yeah. Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. So we'll move to communication number 9, communication number 2024-442. I read through that already, so would you like to make a motion, Commissioner Thatcher?
Sure. Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I did talk with Director Hassler about this. Just really quick, will you come give me the little synopsis on this communication?
Welcome, Director Hassler.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher and Commissioner Thatcher. The reason for the amendment for this particular ARPA grant it was the community grant program that Chief Executive established using the ARPA funds that we received, the American Rescue Plan Act. The particular agreement with the Community Health Center expired or is expiring on September 30th, and they were not going to be able to spend their funds due to, I think, a delay with a contractor. And so they just really asked for a no-cost extension and also the ability to use some of those funds for some rebranding purposes for their clinic. It all falls within the scope of the use of the ARPA funds, and it is, again, a no-cost extension. We do have the ability with these ARPA funds to, as long as they're under contract, allow for these extensions. So it really is, not an issue as far as the use or the timing of the request.
Thank you, Director Hassler.
Thank you, Director Hassler. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to concur and place on file communication number 2024-442.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2024-442. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Fisher. No question? Okay. Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yea, 1 abstaining.
9 yea, 1 abstain. The motion passes. So moving on to Section 3, ordinances resolution introduced to judiciary. We have two of those tonight. Please note those. Moving on to Section 4, ordinances resolution for second reading. We have one. Council Bill number 2024-05, ordinance number 2024-05. Clerk, please read the caption.
An ordinance an ordinance repealing the current provisions of Chapter 12.17 entitled Parklet Pedlet Permits in its entirety and replacing it with a new Chapter 12.17 entitled Parklet, Pedlet, and Sidewalk Cafe Permits and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I make a motion to place Council Bill number 2024-05, ordinance number 2024-05 on second reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing Council Bill number 2024-05 and ordinance number 2024-05 on second reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 2, Council Bill number 2024-04 and ordinance number 2024-04. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution granting a conditional approval of the McCree Finance Minor Subdivision of the City County of Butte-Silver Bow, State of Montana, providing a repeal of all parts of resolutions in conflict herewith and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I spoke briefly with Director Crane earlier, and there are some administrative issues with this resolution that need to be ironed out. So I will make a motion to refer resolution number 2024-49 back to the Judiciary Committee.
We have a motion and a second sending resolution number 2024-49 back to the Judiciary Committee. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 2, Council Bill number 2024-04 and ordinance number 2024-04. Clerk, please read the caption.
An ordinance amending Chapter 13.08 of the Butte-Silver Bow Municipal Code B/SB-MC entitled Service Charges for the Use of Wastewater Treatment System, specifically amending Section 13.08.057 and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I would make a motion to place Council Bill number 2024-04, ordinance number 2024-04 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second. Placing Council Bill number 2024-04 and ordinance number 2024-04 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to calendar and other meeting events, please note all the dates and times of our upcoming meetings. And next we'll move on to any public comment on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, do we have any announcements of commissioners? Seeing none on that front either, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor will signal by signaling aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
Testing, testing.